Yes, sir. Can start.
वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. Team Param Vedanta warmly welcomes you all to session 31st of the Kathopanishad Mananam series. Today we will continue our journey with the concluding session on the summarization of chapter 2. This is going to be our last session in Mananam series. As always, we are indeed blessed and privileged to have Dr. Timappa Hegde sir with us. With his clarity and depth knowledge, he will illuminate the subtle teachings of these important verses and guide us through this session. Following this, a question and answer series session will be conducted by Dr. Anupama ma'am on today's topic. Now, with great reverence, we welcome our respected teacher, Dr. Hegde sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Radha. Sadashivasamārambhām Shankarācārya-madhyamām Asmadācārya-paryantāम् Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvataya Mrityave Brahma Vidyacharya Nachiketa Secha. Question. Now, I'll begin with the question. Dr. Anupama, please chant this mantra for us.
Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mam Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi.
This mantra is part of Krishna Yajurveda. There are other Upanishads like Taittiriya Upanishad. In Taittiriya Upanishad also this same Shanti Pata comes. And in Kathopanishad, it comes both in the beginning and in the end. Adi Shankara does not give a commentary when it comes in the beginning, but he does give a commentary when it comes in the end. This mantra, whenever Swamiji is explaining this mantra, I want you to notice every time he's speaking about this mantra, he says there are 4 boons that you have to ask whenever, or this prayer is asking for 4 boons. And I have looked at the normal meaning and I have never been able to find out what are those 4 boons. Dr. Anupama, can you tell us what are the 4 boons that Swamiji says is asked in this Shanti Pata?
Yes, sir. Considering that it has been repeated at the end of the text, meaning that considering that we have now got Brahma Vidya, the 4 boons here are Avatu. Avatu means I want protection. This means I want protection from the need for protection. Who needs protection? Anybody who is insecure. Now that I am Brahman, I know I don't need protection anymore. So I need protection from the fear of insecurity which I initially had. So I don't need protection anymore. Only the anatma aspect, body, mind needs, not I. Second,
So the first boon is asking for what?
For Brahma Vidya, which itself protects me from the need for protection.
So the first boon is very clear that I am asking for Atma Vidya or Brahma Vidya, which makes me very clear I am not Anatma. I am not this body mind complex. And therefore, as Atma, what protection do I require? And therefore, this is the highest form of protection possible. So the first boon that we are asking is for Jnanam. What is the second boon?
Nattu, may I relish. Relish what? Not this worldly things. I need to become such a nishta in this jnana that I have this Brahmananda. And my life becomes Nandati Nandati Nandatyeva. So let me live like a Jivan Mukta.
Absolutely right. So here when you're asking for Bunattu means once a person has spiritual knowledge, that means every moment of your life should be the joy of a Brahmananda or a Jivan Mukta. What is the third boon?
The third boon is give me the strength to put on effort. Viryam karavavahai. Let me still, even being a Jivan Mukta, I have vasanas in life. So give me the strength to overcome these vasanas. A jnani is supposed to know, is supposed to falsify vasanas, knowing that Jagat is mithya, mind is mithya, vasanas are mithya. Help me to be nishta in that knowledge that whatever difficulty comes in my way, it is only vyavaharika, does not affect me. So I need strength for that effort.
So the second line and third line, Saha Viryam Karavavahai and Tejasvi. See, my mind needs constant refinement. All of us have got Brahmajnanam, and Brahmajnanam does not refer to the body mind complex. Irrespective of my body mind complex, one thing is very certain all of us are Atma. And if this knowledge comes very clear, we can live like I am Atma, Brahma, we can enjoy. But then we have a monkey mind which needs constantly to be improved upon. So the third boon is asking for prayatnam. Even a jnani will every day do various forms of sadhanas to keep his mind in a disciplined state so that the mind will not fall from that lofty state. What is the last boon?
Uh, Na adhitamastu mam vidvishavahai. So two people are involved here, the guru and the shishya. We are now praying for Shraddha, faith. Faith, let me have faith in the Guru Shastra Upadesha. Let the teacher have faith in me that I am doing my best. So it is a two-way faith because mind is invisible. The teacher should have faith that I am a sincere student and I am understanding what he is saying. So Shraddha is the last one.
Excellent. Can you think of a greater prayer, a prayer that asks for jnanam, a prayer that asks for jnana nishta, a prayer that asks for constantly to be able to work on the mind, and the prayer that asks for shraddha bhakti? You know, that is why this prayer is such a commonly chanted prayer at every time. Please chant this mantra for us.
Paranchikani vyatrinat swayambhuhu tasmat parang pashyati na antaratman. But kaschit dhiraha pratyag atmanam aikshat avrta chakshuhu amrutatvam ikshan.
I have a few questions for you. Actually, you're supposed to ask me questions, but I'm going to ask you. Now, whenever you see mantras, whenever you see a verse from the scriptural text, the question for you is, when do you call it a mantra? When do you call it a shloka?
One has a beat, one has a rhythm. I think so. I'm not sure. Mantra
See,
comes from
for
the
instance, Taittiriya Upanishad will have no poetry at all. It's only prose.
anything which
So
comes from the Upanishads is a mantra.
anything that comes from the Vedas is a mantra. Anything, any verse that comes from the Vedas is a mantra. Anything that comes from the Bhagavad Gita,
Shloka, verse.
that's right. So anything that comes from Prakarana Granthas, like Sri Dakshinamurti Stotram,
They're all shlokas only.
Very good. So whenever you say mantra, now this is an understanding. This is just, it is not 100% rule, but this is an understanding that whenever you use the word mantra, it comes from the Vedas. All others verses, whether it is poetic or prose, it does not matter. It comes from any other sources, will be referred to as shlokas. Now, in general, any Upanishadic verse can be basically classified into two, because when you are studying the Upanishads, there is something called the Tatparyam. What is the Tatparyam, or the final goal of all the Upanishads?
Or the Tatparyam is Jivatma Paramatma Aikyam, which happens through Mahavakya,
That's
which
right.
are
So the verses can be classified as Mahavakyas and Avantara Vakyas, those which are not Mahavakyas. Now, those which are not Mahavakyas, is there any ways you can subclassify them? I mean, you can generally, you don't have to be very specific.
main
Subclassify Avantara Vakyas.
those that prepare us to receive the Mahavakyas correctly. They could be in the form of purification of the mind, sadhanas, karma
Very
yoga.
good. Good.
They could be anecdotes. There
Okay.
could be prakriyas like
Okay.
Panchakosha Viveka and those various prakriyas that lead us to.
So, or verses which are talking about Jnana Swarupam. They may not be Mahavakyas. They will be Swarupa. Yeah. And then they will be, like for instance, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Now, is this a Mahavakya or is it an Atma Swarupa Lakshanam?
It's Atma Swarupa.
Very good. So those are Atma Swarupa Lakshana. They're not Mahavakyas. So there are mantras which tell you about the nature of Atma. Like this mantra. This mantra will come under what category?
This is a sadhana
Very
because it's
good.
helping us to introvert our minds.
Very good. This is a sadhana mantra. And then there are mantras which talk about the benefit. You know, every time when we study, what is the prayojan, what is the benefit that I'm going to get? So these are called Atma, Jnana, Palam. Can you briefly tell me why is this mantra so often quoted? And therefore, if we have studied Kathopanishad, this is one mantra we have to remember.
Because Atma Jnana uh, is not perceived through our sense organs. It is not any object that we can experience outside, but it is such a subjective matter. We should shut off almost our sense organs and keep our mind receptive only to Guru Shastra Upadesha. To do that, we have to introvert ourselves. That is what it means. And
Briefly
then we
explain, briefly explain each word so that you'll get an idea what the teacher is trying to say or the Upanishad is trying to say.
Paranchi Khani. Khani means the sense organs. Paranchi are directed outwards. Vyatrinat Swayambhu. This is done to us by the Creator, as if the Creator has disabled us by making our sense organs outside. It is Yamadharmaraja's way of telling us it's not your fault, it's the Creator's fault. But still, he says, this is the reason why all of us are looking outside, na antaratman, and not looking inwards. But kaschid dhiraha, in spite of this, there are a few vivekis. Dhira means a viveki. Pratyag atmanam aikshat, who have realized that Atma is different from Anatma and they want to avritta chakshuhu, shut off all these external disturbances and desire for that amritatvam, which is Atmajnanam.
Excellent. Now, because see, I'm watching the time, so I will not exceed the time. But whenever the mantra is so important, even though you have explained, I will tell this because this is a take-home message. This is Yamadharma Raja saying, Paranchikarni Vyatarnat Swayambhuhu. Swayambhuhu is the creator. He's making a very strong criticism against the creator. Vyatarnat, he has destroyed what? Kani, all our sense organs by making them focus outside. All our Shabda Sparsha, all our organs are faced outside. None of them are faced inside. Tasmat, therefore, Paran Pashyati na antaratman. It is said, I mean, that the Atma is within us, antaratman. Truly, a trained person should be able to see Atma outside because Atma is everywhere. But in our scriptures, yes, first discover the Atma within you, then you will be able to discover elsewhere also. Tasmat, therefore, paran pashyati na antaratman. Now, there is a criticism. So, sometimes in these Upanishads and in the Gita and also, you will see verses which give a strong criticism. And what is that? Is there a term for that?
Nahi ninda nyaya.
Correct. What is Nahi Ninda Nyaya?
Nahi ninda nyaya is there are two aspects. You try to criticize one only to uplift the other, although you
Correct.
don't intend to criticize.
All
It's
right.
praising somebody in the presence of somebody else, only trying to show that somebody is better than the other.
Swamiji used the word to glorify somebody else. If you want to glorify somebody, then for that sake you're criticizing. So here you're trying to glorify a seeker. What does a seeker do? Kaschid dhiraha. There are some awakened people. There are some committed people. Pratyag atmanam aikshad, who are able to discover the Atma within. How? Avrita chakshuhu, who are able to turn their vision inwards. Why? Amritattvam icchan. They want to discover immortality. Icchan. When the interest is to become immortal, or the interest is to discover their immortal nature, then such people, these are called dhiraha. Through Guru and Shastra, they are able to discover pratyagatma, one's own Atma, aikshad, to be able to see that Atma within. That is why this is a great mantra. It is a sadhana mantra. It is like, although the world is very beautiful outside, I see the world outside, but my focus is on the inside. Good. Please chant this mantra, and then whether you want to ask me a question or it's up to you. So we are free to ask each other.
Ena rupam rasam gandham shabdam sparshancha maitunan eteneva vijanati kim atra parishishyate etad vaitad. What is this enam?
All right. So you have the freedom. You can ask me a question or I can ask you a question. Now, if I want, I'll also ask you a question. Yenam means that which you have to know that. That here, which is not spoken about, is understood as Atma. That one. Please go ahead.
So this mantra tells us that enam, this Atma, as Samanya Chaitanya, is available for everybody, everywhere. But in every Rupa Rasa Gandhas, in everything that we perceive, Etena eva vijanati. It is only through the light of consciousness that everything is perceived. And outside the realm of this consciousness, kim atra parishishyati, what is left out? Nothing. Etad vaitad. It is this Atma that you had asked me for as a third boon.
So that is what Yetada Vaitada. Yamadharmaraja is trying to remind Yanachiketa, see, this is what you asked for. Now, whenever this mantra comes, I have a tendency to quote another mantra and say from now onwards, students of Kathopanishad should not quote that mantra. They can quote this mantra. What is that mantra which talks about the same thing?
Pratibodha viditam matam.
In which Upanishad?
Kenopanishad.
Very good. Pratibodha. Now, do you want to tell me what do you mean by pratibodha? In every experience, in every knowledge.
In each and every experience that we feel, be aware of the Satya Chit, the Asti Bhati. Don't get carried away with the Nama Rupa.
Very good. Pratibodha viditam matam. In every experience, you're listening to me. Are you aware of the listener inside you because of which you are able to hear and understand any rupam, any form, rasam, taste gandham, smell, any touch, maithuna, any form of interaction. In every form of interaction, can I become aware of that consciousness principle? Kim matra parishishyate? Other than that consciousness principle, O Nachiketa, is there anything else? That one has become all this. Yetad vaitad. I want you to know Yena, that one. Shall we proceed?
Yes, please.
Please chant this mantra.
Manasaiva idam aptavyam neha nanasti kinchana mrityoho sa mrityum gacchati saha yaha iha nana eva pashyati.
Do you want to ask me a question?
Yes.
Okay.
So this mantra tells us two divergent types of people. Who are they? And okay, that's the first question.
All right. This mantra is talking about two great messages. We have to pick up two great messages. One is in the first line, and the others in the second, third, and fourth lines. All right. Second, third are the English lines. All right. Now, can you clarify your question, please? Let me answer your question specifically.
All of us are living in this Vyavaharika Prapancha. But despite having the same experience of this universe, there are two different perceptions of this universe. One set of people see something and another set sees something else. What is the difference?
All right. See, when I open my eyes with my sense organs and my mind, I see so many objects. So I see multiplicity. But the Upanishad says, Neha nanasti kinchana. There is only one. There is no duality. There is no two. Where is the question of multiplicity? And the Upanishad makes a very strong statement. If you're able to see more than one, Neha nanasti kinchana mrityosa mrityu gacchati. You will go from punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. You will perish. That means what? You will have to get that aptavyam. You will have to get that knowledge, which will say that it is only one water which has become all these waves. It is only one Atma that has become so many chara, achara, the moving and the non-moving, the conscious and the inert. So it is, when I see a mountain, when I see a statue, when I see a human being, it is only one that appears to be many. So Neha nanasti kinchana. That means there is no other. There is no multiplicity. So if you have been trained not to see multiplicity, then you have got the essence of the Upanishads. That is one message.
The
Any more
second
questions you have?
Manasa eva. Manasa means it's only with the mind that you can get this knowledge. What about manonasha? What about people saying aprapya manaha? Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasaha. That means the words of Atma Jnanam cannot reach the mind, they're bouncing off. Why
All
does he say manasa eva idam aptavyam?
right. So this mantra is again very often quoted by one group of people. One group of people want to say that without the mind, you cannot get any knowledge. So the mind is required for Vyavaharika knowledge. That means if a person is mind is not there or the mind is not good enough, he is not able to attend to college or any classes. It is only through the mind you will be able to get knowledge. It is only through the mind you will be able to get Brahma Jnanam. Why? Because mind is the locus or the center where all knowledge or information processing has happened. But the moment you say it, a Puru Pakshi will jump because you quoted another verse from Taittiriya Upanishad says, Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. As far as Brahma Vidya is concerned, yato, that vacho nivartante. Aprapya manasasaha. The mind and the speech have no access to that domain whatsoever. That means through your speech, that means through words or through your tarka or reasoning, you will not be able to get Brahma Jnanam. Why? Brahma Jnanam, the instrument of knowledge, is Guru Shastra Upadesha. It is only through the words of the Guru and the Guru using the Shastras that I'm able to attain. And therefore, if I can continue that, I will say, how does knowledge happen in our mind? What is the locus of knowledge and what are the instruments? Now, whenever I get any knowledge, that means if I want to know how to do, I want to know about the brain. Now, if I want to get this knowledge about the brain has to happen in my brain. What are the instruments? The instrument will be, for many worldly knowledge, my mind itself. But for Brahma Jnanam, my mind cannot give me that knowledge, I am Atma Brahma. That knowledge that I am Atma Brahma can come only through Guru and Shastras. Do you want to clarify anything after what I have said?
No, nothing. So we have two aspects. One is the locus, receptacle of knowledge. Other is instrument of knowledge. The receptacle for this knowledge or locus of knowledge has to be the mind, because we have to be awake to get any knowledge, whether it is Brahma Vidya or Apara Vidya, worldly knowledge. But for worldly knowledge, we can use all our sense organs, we can use logic, we can use discussions. But for Brahma Vidya, it is only Guru Shastra Upadesha which has to reach this mind, which should be a perfect receptacle, Agraya Buddhyaya, a sharp and Sukshma Buddhi. Otherwise, it does not reach that mind also. Awake in the normal sense is not enough. You have to be spiritually awake.
Very good. That is why this mantra talks about two things. Manasaiva eva aptavyam. Excuse me. It is only through the mind. That means both as the locus, I will be able to get this knowledge. But of course, Brahma Vidya comes through Guru and Shastra. That is why through the mind you will not be able to get. So you have to understand that. The second part is Neha Nanasti Kinchana. This particular term, these three words are taken out and quoted everywhere. Neha Nanasti Kinchana, Neha Nanasti Kinchana. That means a spiritual seeker, although he sees multiplicity, you have to be trained to see myself in everybody. So that is the, other than me, there is nobody else. This is the vision of Brahma Vidya. Now, let me ask you this question, Dr. Anupam. Now, we are all students of Vedanta. Swamiji, when he's teaching us these set of mantras in the Kathopanishad, he spoke in one class extensively about 4 stages of spiritual evolution. Can you please clarify to us, what are the 4 stages that all of us go through as we go through Brahma Vidya?
The first stage is when we know that we are not just this body. We move from the Charvaka stage of thinking we are only body, mind. We realize there is one Atma, which is different from the body and mind. So we know this is Atma, Anatma, Viveka. There are 2 things, Atma and Anatma. The second is a kind of leap in evolution when we realize I am the Atma, which is different from everything else I experience, including the body and mind. And the third thing, when we
go slow. Second stage is I am Atma, that is my conviction, but my body mind is incidental. So the percentage of you evolution is such that, I'm so convinced I'm Atma that my body mind is an incidental thing. It is only an instrument that I make use of. This is a great jump in our understanding. What is the third stage?
The third thing is the realization of Sarva Atma Bhava. When the Atma in me is not different from Atma in everybody. So, Eka Atma Pratyaya Sara, according to Mandukya. And the fourth and final is, other than me, nothing else is real. Brahma Satyam, I the Brahma, is the only Satyam, Jagat Mithya. This is Eka Jiva Vada. This is the Mandukya leap of Prapancha Upashamam. There is nothing other than me. Or you call it Drishti Srishti Vada.
Good. Please chant this mantra for us.
Angustha Matraha Purusha Madhya Atmani Tishtati Ishano Bhut Bhavyasya Na Tato Vijugupsate Etad Vaitad.
You want to ask me a question or should I ask you?
Why is this a Mahavakya mantra?
All right. Now, there is a nice picture given of Angustha Matra Purusha. The word Purusha is described as that which pervades everything, or the indweller. If the body is considered as a city, the what is this? Puraswami, the indweller. So Purusha could be the indweller within the city, or Purusha could be that which is all pervading. Now, this Angustha Matra Purusha, although this Purusha is everywhere, you can see it as Angustha Matra, as the size of the thumb. Madhye Atmani Tishtati. That means it is seated in the Atma here means my mind. Inside my mind, which is the heart, really, symbolically the heart, there is a space, and that space of the heart is the size of the thumb. So, that Purusha, which is all pervading, needs to be discovered in my mind as the one that is aware of everything, uh, as that consciousness principle within me. So, that Atma, symbolically, you can take it as the heart. Ishano Bhuta Bhavyas. So, this is the one that Ishana, it is the Lord who is beyond time, of past and past and the future. Na tato vijugupsate. Vijugupsa here means security. For such a person has no sense of insecurity. Such a person is now secure. Etad vaitad. Please clarify.
Yes, sir. Absolutely nothing to say. Once we realize the Jivatma within us is absolutely the same as Paramatma, which is everywhere, and we get the sense of Ishano Bhuta Bhavyasya, I myself am beyond the time principle, then what is insecurity for me? The greatest insecurity that we all have is a fear of death. And if that fear is not there, there is no fear at all. Etad vaitad. It is this knowledge that I am the Atma is what you had asked for in the third poem.
What is the meaning of the word vijugupsate?
Vijugupsa is a feeling of insecurity or limitation. Na Vijugupsa means there is no feeling of limitation. Apurnatvam. That means I have now become Purna Atma. So this is Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu. That what the Shanti mantra had said. We have
Yeah.
got knowledge that we have no limitation anymore.
Now, those who know the Isha Vasya Upanishad, there also Vijugupsate comes. But there, the word Vijugupsate has a different meaning. There it has the meaning of disgust. So, that person who is able to, Yastu Sarvani Bhutani Atmai Ve Vijaniyata Tattva Shoka Tatona Vijugupsate. All right. Now we are now going to the second Valli. Now, the second Valli of the second chapter, second Valli of the first chapter. You will see some of the best mantras of the entire Kathopanishad are there in the second Valli of the first chapter and in the second Valli of the second chapter. That is why Kathopanishad is considered one of the greatest and one of the clearest of all Upanishads. When we study Upanishad, it is like a miner looking for gold among huge amount of ores. But in Kathopanishad, you will find gems everywhere. Wherever you go, you don't have to search. So it is riddled with gems, especially in Valli number 2 of the first chapter, Valli number 3. So that they say the Puraswami that comes in this Valli, Sarvagnya is Sarvatma. That means the one who is aware is none other than this whole world. The consciousness in me is the existence outside. Now, if you want some quotable verses for the theory of karma, it comes in this Valli. How is Brahman immanent and transcendental with lot of beautiful examples come in this Valli? How is Atma aprameya with a great mantra na Tatra, Suryo, Bhati all come in this mantra? Please quote the chant this mantra for us, Dr. Anupam.
Puram ekadashatvaram ajasya avakra chetasah Anushtaya na shochati vimuktasya vimuchyate etad vaitad.
Do you have a question for me? If you have no, don't. I'll ask you questions.
I'd rather ask you.
Please ask me a question.
Please tell us the message of this mantra.
Puram Ekadasha Dwaram. Now you remember in the Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, there is Navadvara Puram. So there is a city with 9 doors. Here, 2 more doors have been added. So there is so much of a correlation between the Bhagavad Gita shlokas and the Kathopanishad mantra. So here he is giving an example of a city. There is a city, Ekadasha Dwaram, with 11 openings. The 2 additional openings are the top of the head and I think in the region of the umbilicus, which is there at the time of death opens, and this at the time of birth. Okay, Ajasya. So within this Puram, there is Ajasya. There is something that is not born. Avakra. Avakra means it does not undergo modification. It is of the nature of Chetana. It is of the nature of consciousness. Anushtaya na sochati. One who is established in that Puram, there is no sorrow for such a person. Vimuktascha vimuchyate. Such a person is entirely free. O Nachiketa, this is what you asked for in the 3rd book. Please tell me if there's something I've not spoken about.
Absolutely nothing. So, another way of thinking is be anchored in the Samanya Chaitanyam. If you are anchored in the Samanya Chaitanyam, you are a Jivan Mukta and naturally a Videha Mukta also. There is nothing nothing more to be acquired.
All right. Can I ask you a question? What is Samanya Chaitanyam? What is Vishesha Chaitanyam?
Samanya Chaitanyam is in the simplest way what we called the original consciousness. And Vishesha Chaitanyam is the reflected consciousness. If you see your face in the mirror, we have the original face and we have the reflection. So instead of being taken up or engrossed in the reflection, which can undergo any distortion depending upon the light and the nature of the mirror, be focused on the original consciousness. Samanya Chaitanyam is there always, the same way, all the time. Be Anushtaya, be anchored in that Samanya Chaitanyam, and then there is nothing to be worried about. You become a Jivan Mukta.
Now, when we speak of Mandukya, we talk of waking state, dream state, deep sleep state, and Turiya. All right, the 4th. Now, this Samanya Chaitanyam is in the waking state, deep sleep state, dream state, or Turiya?
It's throughout, because it is Samanya. There can be no state without Samanya.
That means Turiya is there in waking, in dream, in deep sleep, or in the 4th state?
It is in all the 3 states. There is no 4th state.
That's very good.
All the states.
Although we say 4th, we should remember there is no 4th state. The 4th state is what is called Samanya Chaitanyam. That means, what is that consciousness because of which you're able to hear? What is that consciousness because of which you know your dreams? What is that consciousness which says, I slept well? That which is in and through waking, dream, deep sleep, and that which is aware of this blankness. That is Samanya Chaitanya. Anything else? Proceed.
Yeah, that say Chaturtam Manyate. It is thought of to be the 4th, but it is in and through everything.
It is wrongly thought of as 4th. Manyante. It is assumed to be the 4th. It is not the 4th. Now, in Sanskrit, for want of, because there are already 3, they have used the word 4. So let us not mistake. So the 4 is what Chaitanyam? Turiya is what Chaitanyam?
Samanya Chaitanyam.
It is Samanya Chaitanya. So now let us always be clear, what is Samanya Chaitanya? Now when I say, for example, Puram Ekadashadvaram, when I draw your attention, then you go to that city with 11 doors. There you have Vishesha Chaitanyam. But in that Vishesha Chaitanyam, there is an observer who does not undergo any modification. The mind has undergone a modification to think of that city with 11 doors. But there is that Atma which is Ajasya, which is not born because it is always there. Avakra, which has not undergone any modification. But the mind has undergone a modification. The mind knows there are 11 openings when it is referred to in Kathopanishad and only 9 in the Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter. Clear? What is Vishesha Chaitanya and what is Samanya Chaitanya? Please quote this mantra. And my question to you is, why is this mantra so important?
येनि मन्ये प्रबध्यन्ते शरीरत्वाय देहिनः स्थानुम् अन्ये अनुसन्यन्ति यथा कर्म तथा श्रुतम्. Okay. So the trump word here is sharirattvaya dehinaha. The Jivatma goes in search of a body, sharirattvaya, and yeni manye prabadhyante. It's actually yoni, I think, because
Correct. Because I think it's yeni, it's not yeni, yoni. Because of Sandhi, because yoni means womb. It is looking for that womb. Or it acquires a particular womb. So it is yoni.
Yoni. So the sharirattvaya, in search of a body, the jivatma, yoni prabhadyante, enters the womb of a human being. That is, if you have the opportunity to be born as a human being. Manushatvam mumukshutvam. That is so important. Then sthanum anya anusyanti. You can, the jiva could also enter a plant or some lesser being. And
what does stanu? Stanu means what?
Means something that does not move.
Stationary. Stationary.
Achara. Like a plant.
It is considered one of the lowest forms of jivas that the jivatma can go is to plants or something that is stationary. Okay. What is yata karman, yata shrutam?
So now who is it that decides where the jivatma gets allotment of the new body? It is yourself. Yatha karma, yatha shrutam. Entirely based on whatever karma and upasana you have done in the previous birth. There is no probability and chance here.
Very good. See, this mantra is quoted for what is the proof for why the law of karma, why we get a particular body. We are all human beings because of our past karmas and our past upasanas. The word shrutam here means what is heard. What is heard is your various forms of sadhanas, japa sadhana, and all that. So based on your sadhana, and based upon your upasana and based on your karma, you will get an appropriate womb that you enter a particular womb, prapadyante, and get a suitable body. It could be stationary in trees or it could be moving from one place to another. All right, this is a very popular mantra, na Tatra Suryo Bhati. No, there is no need to chant this mantra. Now, do you have a question for me on this?
What is the difference? I mean, this mantra answers two very different questions asked in the Mundaka and Kathopanishad, but we realize that it's a common answer. How does two different questions bring us to one answer?
All right, good question. So now, good question because I can answer this question. Now, there are two Upanishads, not two Upanishads. There are at least three Upanishads where this mantra comes. And in both these Upanishads, in the Mundaka Upanishad and in the Kathopanishad, this mantra comes in a place where it answers the main question of the Upanishad. For example, can I ask you a question? How does the Mundaka Upanishad begin when Shaunaka comes and asks the teacher Angirasa the question? What is the question that Shaunaka comes and asks the teacher Angirasa?
He says, what is it that knowing which everything is known?
What is that knowing which everything is known? And the answer is na tatra suryo bhati, na chandra tarakam, nema vidyuto bhati, kutoyam agnihi, tam eva bantam. Because of that consciousness within, anubhati sarvam, tasya basa sarvamidam vibhati. Because of that consciousness inside, Everything is known because of that. So what is that because of which everything is known? It is that consciousness. That is the question that is asked in Mundaka, and that is the answer. If you know that consciousness, knowing that you know everything. In Kathopanishad, the question is, what happens after death? What is anyatra dharma, anyatra dharma? Can you tell me something which is beyond dharma and adharma? Again, whenever we are doing this arati, we are saying, Na Tatra Suryo Bhati, Na Chandra Taraka, Mema Vidyuto Bhanti, Kutoyam Agnihi. Now, it is not the light of the sun or the moon or the stars that help me to see the Lord, the consciousness. Then whom? Kutoyama tameva bantam. It is because of the light of this consciousness I am able to see that. Tasya bhasa, in whose light everything is evident. This whole world has come into being because of that consciousness. So in Mundaka Upanishad, the focus is on consciousness. What is that because of which I know everything? In Kathopanishad, we can say the focus is on existence. Everything is existing because of that. Because it is in the one same consciousness which is consciousness and existence also. The other important thing in this mantra is that which I want to know, that Atma, can never be an object of experience. That is why you're eliminating. It is not an object of experience, but the ultimate subject. So this is the real. Please tell us anything else that we need to know.
Nothing. Ultimately, we don't search for the Atma outside because it is the subject. It is never anything that can be experienced because it is the experiencer. That's all.
In our own classes, if you can go back, there is one class where entirely we focused on this mantra alone. So that is how we prepared for this. Now we come to the last Valli, where we have this famous example of Urdhva Mulam. Please chant this mantra.
Urdhva Mulam Ava Shakaha Esha Ashwataha Sanatanaha Tadeva Shukram Tad Brahma Tadevam Amritam Uchyate Tasmin Lokashritaha Sarve Tadunatyeti Kaschana Etad Vaitad.
Any question you have?
What is the message here? Urdhva Mulam Adashaka. Why Urdhva Mulam?
Before you ask, please briefly explain this mantra. So then I will try to say what is the message.
We are comparing samsara to this Ashwatha tree. And we see that there is a perpetuation of this samsara, which is endless, only until we realize the Urdhva Mulam, the Adhishtanam that we are on, Brahman. Be focused on that Adhishtanam, forget the Nama Rupa, and know that if it is that Brahma, once you know that it is that Brahma upon which the whole everything else is located, if we forget our support, what is the purpose of our life? And Taduna Atyeti Kaschana, other than that Brahman, nothing is real, everything is else mithya. Again, the same thing. Asti Bhati is where we should be and not the Nama Rupa.
Very good. Let me try to explain. Urdhva Mulam Avak Shakaha. Now, an unusual experience is given. There is a tree where the roots are above and the branches are below. Avak Shakaha. So the branches are going down. Mula Urdhva. That means normally when you see a tree, you don't see the roots. So what are we seeing? We are seeing samsara. But what we are not seeing is the root. The root of samsara is Brahman. So what is that sanatanaha? That which yeshaha ashwataha sanatan. What is that which is permanent? Tadeva shukram. That is bright. That is Brahman. Tadevamritam uchyate. That is which lends immortality. Tasmin loka shrita sarve. On this, all the 14 lokas exist. Tadu naneti kaschana. Other than that Brahman, there is nothing else. Yetad vaitad. That means whenever you see a tree, you imagine there must be a root. Whenever you see samsara, you must imagine there is Brahman. It is on this Brahman, which is invisible, this whole root. And where is this Brahman? It is in the cave of my heart. In the cave of my heart means it is not other than me, it is the real me. So the real me has lent existence to this whole world. So whenever you see the whole world, become aware of Yena Rupam Rasam Gandham Shabdam Sparshanu Maithuna. Etene Vijanati Kimatra Parishishyate Etad Vaitad. All right. Now, please chant this mantra. There is a very similar mantra, and I want you to tell me what is the difference between this mantra and all the other mantras.
Esha sukteshu jagarti kamam kamam purusho nirmimanam. That means it is the avastha traya sakshi. So, supteshu jagarti, that which is the sakshi of your sushupti avastha.
Deep sleep. Deep sleep.
And that which is also the sakshi of your swapna avastha. Kamam kamam purusho nirvimanam. When you are projecting all your vasanas in the form of various dreams, who is the sakshi of that dream? That same samanya chaitanyam. So that samanya chaitanyam, which is sakshi of all the avasthas.
Can you see the second line is common? Tadeva shukram tad brahmam tadeva amruta ashmate tasmin loka shrita sarve tadu naneti kaschana yetad vaitad. Now, one question to you. What question to you? Question to you. What is the meaning of the word jagarti?
Jagarti means that which is aware.
That very good. That awareness principle, that in deep sleep I know I slept well, and that because of which all my desires are projected in my dream. Yesha, that one, that Atma, that is Shukram, that is Brahman, that is Amrutam Uchate. They say that is immortal. Tasmin Loka, on that all these 14 lokas, other than that, Tadu Nan Eti Kaschana. See, other than this, there is nothing. There is no duality. Yetad Vaitad. All right. I'm not going to ask you I'm not going to ask you to read this. Okay, but please read this for me. Bhayad.
Bhayad Agnihi Tapati. Bhayad Tapati Suryaha. Bhayad Indriyascha Vayuscha Mrityuhu Dhavati Panchamaha.
The word bhaya is very negative. Because of that fear, all the devatas, the sun is shining. Because of devata, Indra, on all the devatas, and Mrityu is running. All right. Now, can you convert that word bhaya into something else?
Yeah, definitely. Bhaya is an emotion which resonates with reverence also. So if you are very reverential to a guru, in the presence of that guru, you're absolutely alert and you're at your best. Maybe you could call that bhaya. I don't know, but it means in this context reverence.
Very true. Now, why is this mantra considered so important?
Here, Yamadharma Raja is trying to tell us that even the devatas, including himself, Mrityu Dhavati, even he runs at the command of the creator, which is Ishvara. Yamadharma Raja is here giving us an awareness of Ishvara, who is supreme to even the devatas and even the most exalted human beings that we see around. If we have this kind of reverence for Ishvara, definitely we need not fear anything in this world.
Although they use the word bhaya, take it as reverence, but here you should say that we are not living in a chaos. We are living in a cosmos. Everything happens in perfect order because of the fear or the reverence to Ishvara. Please quote this, chant this mantra.
Iha ched ashakad bodhum prak sharirasya visrajaha Tataha sargeshu lokeshu sharirattvaya kalpate.
For
Oh,
want of time, I'm not going to ask you a question. I'm going to answer. See, in this verse, we are in a series which says, why is human birth so important? Why is life so precious? See, there are other lokas like, Gandharva Loka and Pitra Loka and other lokas where Brahma Vidya or even Swargas are, you keep enjoying, but you have no time to get spiritual knowledge or spiritual enlightenment. That is why there is certain urgency. First things first, how long I'm going to live, I do not know. Tata Sargeshu Logesh. So I need to make use of Iha Ched Prak Sharirasya
visrijaha.
this research, before I have to relinquish this body, can I take a certain importance and urgency to get this spiritual knowledge? Finally, we come to those two very beautiful mantras. These are what is called the Palashruti. Now, I want you to chant mantra, the last mantra, number 15. And why do I say it is the last mantra, even though there are three more mantras after that? Please chant this mantra.
यदा सर्वेषु प्रविद्यन्ते हृदयस्य इह ग्रन्थयः अतः मृत्योः अमृतः भवति एतद् अनुशासनम् एतद् एव अनुशासनम्. This is my teaching, he says. Yamadharmaraja says, etad eva anushasanam. This is my teaching. So that is why he is ending his teaching here. He says,
And he ends it in a very beautiful manner. He says, this is the conclusion. And what is the conclusion?
he says, sarve pravidhyanti. It's only when ignorance drops, it's only when the notion of mortality in us drops, when the Brahmatvam knowledge enters us, hridayasya granthayaha vidyate, then um, there is no sorrow, there is no vidyate hridaya granthi, chidhyante sa sarva samshaya, all the doubts goes, kshiyante cha asya karmani, all the sanchita and agami karmas goes, when tasmin drishte paragare, when we get that aparokshataya jnanam of Brahma, then we have got it all. And
Very
he
good.
says, this is my anushasana. This much is my teaching.
Very good. So both Kathopanishad and Mundakopanishad end with this mantra. Vidyate Hridaya Granthi. All of us are born with that knot in our heart. What is that knot? Avidya Kama Karma. I do not know who I am. And because of that, I have desires. Because of desires, I do karma. Because of karma, I do I get punya or papa. That leads to punarapi jananam punarapi. There is a vicious cycle. But thanks to Swami Paramarthananda ji, he has given us this knowledge. Sahana bhavatu, sahana bhunaktu. We have got that knowledge. The knot in my heart is broken. And this avidya kama karma is gone. Then sarve pramuchanti, all the desires in my heart are gone. Teaching is also over. And then we come to the state where what is happening? All this is over, no? Okay, now we come to the last scene. So the discussion is over. Now the Upanishad comes and takes over. Both the teacher and the student have gone. The stage is empty. The master of ceremonies has come on. And what is the master of ceremonies does? This, please chant this mantra for us.
Mrityo proktam nachiketo yat atha labdva. Then, if Nachiketas can get this knowledge that Yamadharma Raja has told, Anyaha api evam yo vidyam atmam eva. Any of us also can get this knowledge. In between, he talks about the yoga bhyasas and all that. So, Brahma prapta vijaha.
What is the message? What is the message?
He
If
says,
one person can attain, if Nachiketa can attain, that means when Shri Krishna is talking to Arjuna, through Arjuna, he's giving Brahma Vidya to all of us. Through Nachiketa, he's giving wisdom to all of us. If a 9-year-old boy and a 10-year-old boy is able to get this Atma Jnana, all of us who have been listening to this discussion happening between these two people, we too also can get this knowledge, and we also can become free. So Nachiketa completely acquired this knowledge as taught by Lord Yama and attain Brahman. Anyone else also can get this knowledge and attain Brahma Vidya. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Anupama ma'am and Hegde sir, for such a wonderful and insightful explanation. Your clear word by word teaching, along with this engaging question and answer session, and with relevant examples, has made these verses easy to understand. The concluding mantras of chapter 2 of the Kathopanishad emphasize that Atma Jnana leads to Amritattvam, immortality, and Shoka Nivritti, freedom from sorrow. They declare that the Atma is Sarvagataha, Nitya, Shuddha, and Nirvikara, and is attainable only through Antarbodha, inner awakening, not through external means. The chapter concludes that other than Brahman, nothing exists. That one who realizes this truth becomes a Jivan Mukta, liberated here and now, transcending the fear of birth and death. With today's session, we are concluding the study of Kathopanishad series. We offer our sincere pranamams to heartfelt gratitudes at the holy feet of our Guru, Swami Paramarthananda, and to Hegde sir and to Anupama ma'am, whose compassionate guidance and clarity have led us so beautifully through these sessions. We feel truly blessed to be part of this sacred journey and to receive these timeless teachings under your guidance. Kathopanishad classes will premiere every Monday at 6:45 p.m. Also, don't miss session 11 of Selected Bhagavad Gita verses for Daily Living series premiering on Friday, 13th February. It's time to conclude the session with Shanti Mantra. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम्